Have you ever wondered why some people never complain about life, even when everything seems to be falling apart around them, while others can't stop whining about every tiny inconvenience that crosses their path? Today I'm going to reveal the shocking truth about what separates mentally strong individuals from chronic complainers. And trust me, what you're about to discover will completely change how you see yourself and everyone around you. But first, let me tell you about my friend Marcus. This guy lost his job, his girlfriend left him, and his car broke down, all in the same week. Most people would be posting dramatic Facebook updates and calling everyone they know to vent their frustrations. But Marcus? He just smiled and said, "Well, I guess this is my chance to start fresh." That's when I realized something profound. Strong people don't complain because they understand a fundamental truth that weak people completely miss. It's like going to the gym, but only working out your weakness muscles, while completely ignoring your strength muscles. Neuroscientists have discovered that chronic complainers actually shrink their hippocampus, the brain region responsible for intelligent thought and problem-solving. Meanwhile, people who practice gratitude and focus on solutions are literally growing new neural connections that make them more resilient. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this might shock you. Strong people actually face more challenges than weak people, not fewer. The difference isn't in what happens to them, it's in how they interpret and respond to what happens. Instead, she immediately started researching treatment options, building her support network, and planning how to maintain her business during treatment. That's the mindset shift that separates warriors from victims. Warriors ask, "How do I solve this?" While victims ask, "Why is this happening to me?" But wait, there's something even more powerful happening beneath the surface. Strong people have developed what psychologists call an internal locus of control. They believe they have the power to influence their outcomes through their actions and choices. Weak people operate from an external locus of control, believing that outside forces determine their destiny. This is why complainers are actually addicted to complaining. And yes, I mean literally addicted. Each complaint triggers a small release of stress hormones that create a temporary sense of relief and validation. It's the same mechanism that keeps people hooked on drama, gossip, and victim mentality. But strong people have broken free from this toxic cycle by developing what I call response ability. Let me share another story that perfectly illustrates this principle. Two brothers grew up in an abusive household with an alcoholic father who was absent most of their childhood. 20 years later, a journalist interviewed both of them about how their childhood affected their lives. The first brother was in prison, addicted to drugs, and had been in and out of toxic relationships his entire adult life. When asked about his childhood, he said, "What did you expect? With a father like mine, how could I turn out any different?" When asked the same question about his childhood, he replied, "With a father like mine, how could I turn out any different? Same circumstances, identical words, completely opposite outcomes." The difference was in the meaning each brother assigned to their shared experience. One used it as an excuse, the other used it as fuel. This is the secret that strong people know and weak people haven't figured out yet. Your past doesn't determine your future unless you allow it to. Every single day you get to choose whether you'll be the author of your story or just a character in someone else's narrative. But here's where most people get it wrong, and this is crucial to understand. That's not strength, that's denial. And it's just as destructive as chronic complaining. True strength means feeling your emotions fully, processing them honestly, and then choosing your response consciously. It means having difficult conversations instead of avoiding conflict. It means setting boundaries instead of building walls. It means asking for help when you need it, instead of suffering in silence. Remember my friend Marcus from the beginning of this story? 6 months after that terrible week, he landed his dream job, met the love of his life, and bought a better car than he ever owned. But none of that would have happened if he'd spent those 6 months complaining about his circumstances instead of changing them. The universe has a strange way of responding to our energy and expectations. When you complain, you're essentially placing an order for more things to complain about. This isn't wishful thinking or New Age nonsense. This is how your brain's reticular activating system actually works. Your brain filters reality based on what you tell it is important. If you constantly tell it that problems and obstacles are important, that's all you'll see. So how do you make this transition from complainer to strong person? First, you need to catch yourself in the act of complaining and pause. Ask yourself, is this complaint helping me solve anything, or is it just making me feel worse? Second, reframe every complaint as either a problem to solve or a boundary to set. Instead of, I never have enough time. Try, I need to evaluate my priorities and eliminate time wasters. Third, surround yourself with people who inspire you to grow instead of people who validate your complaints. Your environment shapes your mindset more than you realize. If you're constantly around people who complain, gossip, and blame others, you'll unconsciously adopt. When you spend time with solution-oriented, growth-minded individuals, their energy becomes contagious. Find 3 specific things each day that you can genuinely appreciate, and focus on why they matter. This rewires your brain to notice abundance instead of scarcity. Finally, remember that becoming mentally strong is a practice, not a destination. You'll have moments of weakness, times when you slip back into old patterns, and that's completely normal. The difference between strong and weak people isn't that strong people never fall. It's that they get back up faster. Every complaint is an opportunity to practice strength. Every challenge is a chance to grow your resilience muscles. So the next time you catch yourself about to complain, pause and remember that you have a choice. You can stay stuck in victim mode, or you can step into your power and start creating the life you actually want. The strong people you admire didn't get that way by accident. They got that way by making this choice over and over again. And now you know their secret. The question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge?